off with the one with triangles. We're going to start off with the one with triangles. All right, so one application of matrices is to find area of figures, specifically triangles, in the coordinate plane. All right, so the first one I give you looks like a right triangle centered nicely horizontally and vertically with its legs, right? So, if I were you guys, there's no way I would use the matrix application for this triangle, because we can go back to this formula we memorized in like kindergarten. Maybe it was a little after kindergarten.
7th grade.
But the area of a triangle is half the base times the height. You can look at that and count. How many units long is the base?
I'd say about 10.
5 plus 6 is 11.
11.
Okay? So the base is 11 units. And count the height.
13.
Let's see, it's 6 plus 7 is 13. Okay, who did I teach last year? All right, what's the shortcut for multiplying by 11?
10 times 3. 143.
All right, multiplying by 11, you split the two digits, put their sum in the middle. Split the digits, sum in the middle. That's the shortcut for multiplying by 11.
No way.
That's a really good trick.
What?
All right,
What are these?
and then we take half of that,
What is that word for?
multiplying by 11.
Oh.
So if you did like 52 times 11, it's 572.
Whoa.
Yeah, whoa.
All right.
Crazy.
What if you had a 3-digit number?
It doesn't. It's not as helpful.
Ruined the trick.
Actually, it just gets a little longer. The trick gets a little more complicated, and a lot of times you have to carry. Yeah, so it's not as helpful.
So you might as well just multiply it.
All right, so yeah, this one is 71.5 square units, or units squared. I almost forgot my unit, which some of you did on your word problems.
Did that?
Are we allowed to have a word problem without units? No.
Yes.
All right. So there were a few little things on the quiz that I didn't count off for that I will on the test. Some of my expectations.
Can I have examples?
Putting units with a word problem is a major one. So some of you left the answers to the word problems in matrix form and didn't identify anything. It was just a matrix with numbers. Okay, so when I give those quizzes back tomorrow, I will talk about those expectations for the test. Okay, now, not that we would use this nice exploitation because of the orientation of this right triangle. It's much easier to use what we already know, but there is a way to find the area of a triangle in the coordinate plane using matrices, and this is it. Now, it's not plus or minus because area ends up always being positive, right? What this plus or minus means is pick the sign that makes the final answer positive. You're either going to multiply by a positive 1/2 or a negative 1/2 here. So if your determinant ends up being negative, you multiply by the negative to make it positive. But if your determinant is positive, you multiply by positive. That's all. All right. Now, this says take the determinant if we put the vertices in as ordered pairs. Okay, top left vertice. What is the x and y coordinates of that vertex?
-5, 7.
-5, 7. The third column is always ones. Okay? What is the vertex that's located directly below that one?
-7, -6.
No, -6.
-5.
-5, -6.
Okay? And what is the final vertex?
6, -6.
6, -6.
Does it matter the order?
Is that a 6 or a 5?
No, it doesn't. Does it matter how we put the rows in? No, it doesn't. Okay? So, now we want to find the determinant of this. And we know how to do that by hand. But today, I'll show you how to use your calculator.
Attaboy.
All right, so the first thing we need to do is enter this as matrix A, please.
Oh, enter it in.
Enter it in as matrix A. Now, mine are in a different order because last period we picked a different order. Second period, whenever I talk.
Are we ever gonna have to do
Does the order of the rows matter? Okay.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, I got it. I meant to.
Oh my gosh, they changed everything.
Oh my god.
Okay. So, once we enter the matrix in, me just telling you, and probably some of you had already discovered this on your own. As you work through, whoops, wrong one. When you arrow over to edit, you pass math. And look at all of our choices here. Ooh, an augmented matrix.
Dead.
Ooh, we could transpose a matrix.
What is that?
Is it not negative? I thought negative.
There's a roof.
All right.
Question mark.
So, we're finding the determinant, so let's hit 1 for determinant, and then choose A.
What?
Oh my.
He just don't know.
I got positive
Oh.
143.
I did too.
Okay, why?
Because you're.
You changed the row orders.
I did. All right, so what we got in this order should have been a positive 143, so we'd go with a positive 1/2. You'll notice the way I entered it second period, I did the rows differently, so I got a negative 143, so I chose the negative 1/2. But anyway, I get 71.5 units, square units.
Will this be part of the no calculator because
Is that necessary?
you don't see me combing my hair?
Exactly.
We gotta look good,
You
bro.
don't see me combing my hair inside.
Combing doesn't make a noise. Brushing does.
It does do good.
Combing. Combing doesn't make
All right,
Yeah.
questions?
Miss Willoughby,
Yes.
did you think of, like, what are the determinant signs, or, like, instead of the matrix thing,
Mhm.
that, could we think of that as, like, an absolute value?
Yeah, they can have some fun.
Are we ever gonna like a response to like why this works?
We can.
Like, what?
You want to?
No.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Don't
There's actually another method that we do in math team too.
Oh, it's one with the coordinates you showed us. So it's like a lot.
Yeah.
What did you?
Okay.
I learned something.
So for homework,
He's
you're gonna do 2 and 3. Now, 2 and 3 are designed in such a way that using the matrices is easier.
Using the matrices.
Okay.
How do you see it?
Using the matrix form to find the area is easier. Because neither of those are right triangles, and they're not oriented in such a way that it's terribly easy. Actually, number 2 is. It's easy to see a base and a height on that one. But the height is outside the triangle.
Where are we looking? Oh, I see.
The height is just
Oh,
outside.
I'm just gonna
So,
calculate this.
number 2 would be just as easy with the area formula, but number 3 would not. So, for number 3, we would definitely want to.
That's an equal number.
That makes sense.
Okay? Alright.
Now,
Now, let's switch to the second set of application. And this is polynomial modeling, or modeling polynomial functions. We'll call that it. Modeling polynomial functions.
Which part is this on?
Okay, that's the second page I gave you.
Oh, okay.
Alright.
Do that last.
So,
Just for the halibut.
we did do some, but now we're going to do it with higher degree polynomial, and we're going to use the aid of matrices.
Oh.
Okay? Alright, so in part 1, which is actually on the back the way I hole punched it, sorry guys, it says find an equation for a parabola passing through the points 2, 5, 3, 9, and 5, -1. It reminds us that the general equation for a parabola, or our quadratic in standard form, is ax squared plus bx plus c. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these points and plug them in to our general form here. We're going to plug in 5 for y, and when we do, we plug in 2 for x. plus 5 equals 4a plus 2b plus c.
Oh no.
You see it already? Okay, now we're going to plug in 9 for y. And then we'll plug in 3 for x. And we get 9 equals 9a plus 3b plus c.
Oh, this is the system equations for
Good job, John.
Then we plug in -1. And it gives us -1 equals 25a plus 5b plus c. So, you are completely right.
You go.
We can take this system now and turn it into a matrix equation. We have our coefficient matrix times our variable matrix equals the answer matrix. So our coefficients are 4, 2, 1. 9, 3, 1.
This is actually pretty cool.
25, 5, 1. I'm glad you think it's cool.
She thinks I'm kidding.
Our variable matrix is A, B, C.
A, B, C.
And then we have 5, 9, -1.
Definitely
Thank you, Carl.
That's a good song.
It's fabulous. This is so good. All right. So what we currently have right now is this matrix. Now, many of you showed me this
Yes, it is.
on your test. I was looking on your quiz. I was looking for this.
Oh.
Okay.
I did.
Some of you left out this step,
I did.
I did that.
I looked it up.
I looked it up.
and some of you only gave me this.
Hey, that's what I did.
Yeah, that's exactly what
We're supposed to be typing.
Yes. So I can tell. Now, second period, every single person gave me all of this.
Oh.
Fourth period, not. So that let me know that I didn't stress it well in this class. So here we go. I'm stressing it.
So we need all of that.
For the test.
What's the I thing mean?
Okay, what does the I mean?
Inverse.
Identity. Like, hey, just leave this up here. My name is Brent. So much skill as yours.
Okay.
No, it's just like letters.
All right. Guys, pull out your calculators. And please find the values for A, B, and C.
Yes.
Oh, never mind.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, I probably didn't enter that in there.
A, B, C.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
1, 2, 3.
Hey, where you going, man?
That's easy.
Oh, that's nice. Do we need to write down all that? Yeah, there we go. So let's write A to the negative first times A times X equals You don't know what it is.
You are correct. -3, 19, and -21. Now, the reason this is helpful, guys, is because these are our values A, B, and C that are part of the general form, or the standard form for a quadratic. We know it's -3 x squared plus 19x minus 21. That's a terrible looking minus.
Wait, how'd you know to square the 3?
No, we're not gonna do like that.
Okay, because this is your standard form right here. Okay, and we're plugging in the A, the B, and the C.
Now let's factor it out.
Okay, so how can this problem be used? It could be used, and at this point, I could ask you to find the x-intercepts.
I would say no, because I don't know how to factor it.
Plug in 0 for x.
What if you can't factor a quadratic, Carson? What do you do?
Use the quadratic formula.
Yes, you would. Okay. I could also say it passes through this point.
By the way, that one doesn't have any x-intercepts. Does it?
Wait, Yeah, and you would have to find y, which at this point would be really easy. So there's a lot of ways we could go with this from this point on. Okay, so you try number 2.
What is number 2?
It's right below number 1.
Wait, so we were supposed to be doing all this work in A, B, C, and D?
Yeah?
Oh yeah, I just did it all under A.
Yeah, same.
It's like,
That's awkward.
I'm just gonna arrows up.
Wait, there's 4.
It says plus D.
Wait, what?
So you want to do plus D as well? A, B, C, D.
This one's got a D.
Oh, that's not good.
Oh, so we're gonna have to do.
So wait,
Which would be overwhelming if you didn't have a calculator.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, I'm confused. Wait, what is it?
Number 2.
Alright, stop being
So
confused.
solve for the same thing we just did in steps, but you have to find.
So this one, right?
I don't even know. Okay,
Yeah.
0, 0, 1.
Okay.
Because they were trying to get bids. Married.
4, 2,
Oh, it is.
There's
a motor outside.
Gotta roll for
I'm not talking to you, I'll talk to you.
I do need
He knows better. He's pretty sure he was talking to one.
We always use 1 for C, correct? Or for the last one? Right, this will be.
Because you said something good.
No.
4 equals 0, 0, 0, 1.
Oh, no, then.
Why do you have a nerve to roll?
Oh, that's a big boy.
I'm gonna let you go a little ways and then I'm gonna stop you for you.
Oh wait, it's a 4, but oh god, I forgot.
Alright, let's turn that phone over so that message string doesn't distract us.
Yeah, there's 4, there's not 3. That was a funny conversation.
Trying to make eye contact, but I don't know.
Explain the first one better.
16.
2 cubes is 8.
Oh, why did I do 10? Because
Right.
Okay.
It's quite alright. Can somebody
She was laughing at me.
This show cracks me up sometimes. Alright, now, why was the fact that they gave us 0 for so nice?
Because you found D.
We automatically know D, which,
Oh.
which actually puts a number right there every time,
You're singing.
Oh.
doesn't it? We know what D is. D is 4, D is 4, D is 4.
It's just time to
This
Yeah,
is.
no, I just
Would it
decided.
make a difference
before
whether
I
you did that or whether you didn't do that?
Let's see.
So you could
Let's explore that
if you
question.
just put D, that
I
means
feel like it's gonna be really.
Let's explore that question. Yes, it would be. Yes, sir.
Wait, is it always the first quarter that determines the rest of the numbers, or is it only if it has a 0?
If it only has a 0.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
the
you're
rest of the
right.
X's.
You're right.
So is there always going to be a quarter?
No,
Oh,
no, you don't. You're not always given the y-intercept.
Wait, Miss
So then,
Louise.
if there wasn't a 0, then would it just all be 1?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes,
Would you have to subtract the 4 over?
yes.
Oh, for the last one, everything is divisible by 4 just a matter of.
So it's 0, 0, 0, 0 on the last one. And then this is a 0.
For the last one, you just did.
Oh.
Take off the 4.
If I get this right, I might have to hunt
You
somebody.
divide everything by 2?
Yeah.
I mean, you could, but you're using your calculator,
Carson's very
so.
calculator.
I'm not talking about that.
Yeah, what you're asking is, can I perform the same operations on each side
It
of the
works.
equation and it stay balanced? Yes. Yes, it does. It's kind of like, remember when we were using row echelons? And we just divided the whole thing by, same thing?
Okay. But it wouldn't make anything easier.
If you had to do it by hand, it would.
I hope, it's error, singular matrix. What's that mean?
I got 1, -7, 12, 4.
That means you type something in
Yeah,
wrong.
I got
Because this one is not.
singular matrix.
It's when your determinant is 0, there's no inverse, and you can't solve.
Wait, so do you subtract before on both sides? Or no?
I did.
Will you help me?
Could you just switch the first and second one and then do professional on? Oh
Ah!
no, or you actually have to switch the first and
Hold
last.
on. Where's my undo button? There it is. Okay. Just that. That's the only thing I want.
Get off my paper.
Okay. So what I did was I chose to subtract the 4.
I didn't like making so much. So I just did a 4x4. Yeah.
Okay. So then I was left with this.
By the time you did all that,
I think subtracting before
would you be able to just do it in your calculator? With the 4x4?
I mean,
Sure. Sure.
Does that make it easier or no?
It's just your preference.
I think subtracting 4 is easier, honestly.
That actually does make it easier.
It's your preference.
That does actually.
He doesn't just.
But I don't think I have the thought process to be able to pull that off.
It's not.
So I'll just do it in my calculator.
Okay, you do you. I'll do it. Hey man, shut your face. I'm sorry.
Wait, is the final answer?
Not always.
Hey,
I'm not
you.
Yeah. I'm gonna beat that 100% of the time.
But that's funny. Alright. So this is a new way of being able to create a function for a data set. Now, we can do this when just given ordered pairs, or you can do this when given a situation. Flip to the front now. And let's read about our cleverly named, just for the hell of it, story. Okay, now, 2 things I want you to be aware of.
Oh, you
The
got
data is given to you in inches. Some of the questions are in feet. This is real world data, and you get to pick. So, if you pick one set and you pick a different set, will you have exactly the same equation?
Yes.
No.
No, what the?
No, it's real data. Okay? Now, in Willoughby world, sometimes I create data that is perfect, but real data is not perfect. So your equation may not look exactly like your neighbor's, and that's probably good. Okay? Unless you choose the same thing, then it should look the same. Now, the last thing, I just want you to be aware of units. Some are in inches, some are in feet. Oh, and in the real world, your coefficients aren't pretty. They're not like -2. Okay? Sometimes they're like 10,453.9876. Sometimes they're like 0.0015.
Or one even.
It's okay. That's what happens when we deal with real data instead of made up beautiful data, which is what we usually do.
What would you want to
That's
say?
who Follow the directions.
Is there any questions in science?
What do you want to say?
Yes, cheating.
When I'm rounding data, I at least give 3 decimals.
So we pick our
Which one's dependent on the other? That's what you have to, determine what are your independent versus your dependent variables. Okay, so your homework is to finish this application problem page, this application page, and 2 and 3, but you have the rest of class.
When are we gonna get that explanation for the triangles?
How do you set this up?
No, I took your last